What's going on? So today I wanted to do a tier list for Seven Deadly Sins Origin. Now I've been playing the game for quite a while. Go to Steam. Let me quickly check how many hours I have in the game. I have 75 hours in the game. I've played the game a lot, and I've enjoyed it quite a bit. I've tested most of the characters, and I've looked into majority of the characters' abilities, so I understand. In my opinion, I understand who the best and the worst characters are, and I wanted to try my hand at a tier list to give people an idea of which characters you want to invest in, which ones you want to get away from. Now, to start off, let's just get the trash out of the way. So, Greenmore, garbage. Sun is also garbage. Gila, in my opinion, is also garbage. Um, there's absolutely no worth really in these three. Um, so these characters aren't currently out, so get them out of the way. Okay, so in C tier, instantly put Dreyfus and Hendricks in here. Now the reason I put she's also not in the game. The reason why I put them here is that the only reason Dreyfus is not in trash is his mining ability is insanely good for going around and doing stuff. As an actual character, he's garbage. So that's the only reason he's in the C tier. When it comes to Hendrickson, he's an okay support for the holy team. If you're not a whale and he's your only option, he at least has some worth. And again, that's the only reason why he's in the C tier. I'm also going to put Slater in the C tier. Slater, I used him as a support for the Light King DPS team, and he's not horrible for that with his physical ability, and then he can also work in the fire team. So I think he's still not good, but at least he has some purpose going on there. Now getting to the B tier, I'm gonna put Gil Thunder, Hauser, and Tiore there. No, I think I'm gonna put Bug here as well. Um, all three can work well with certain comps. Bug, I'll actually put him at the top of B tier here. Hold up. Bug, if you don't know, has a combo with melee where you can just nuke with a combined ult with him, and that is really his only purpose. But considering how good melee is, that's the reason why he's so far up. That one bit of utility is very useful. Gil Thunder is the only support for Drake, so it's literally like instantly boosts his status, but I don't think he's that impressive of a kit. And then Hauser, he's not overwhelming with damage, but if you've seen Seaton's videos or live streams with his free to play challenge going SR only, I've looked at a lot of that gameplay, and Hauser's I'm not the lance is honestly very good for a player with skill. It gives you a lot of range, and you can punish attacks you can't really punish with most characters, and that's actually pretty big. If you're very skilled at the game, Hauser is honestly a solid option to invest in as a DPS if you can build enough attack into him. Obviously not optimal, but like you can get stuff done with Hauser. So I think that's a pretty solid ranking. Now for A tier, actually two SRs are gonna make it into this. Let's get Tristan and Tiore, and then I'm gonna put Drake in A tier as well. Um, the reason I don't know why there's two versions of them. Okay, reason why I'm putting Drake in A tier is because he only has one person who can support him, and all three of his kits are electric or lightning, whatever you want to call it. He's very limited with only one support option, just very lower his value. Like that just you're very limited in what you can do. If you pull Drake and you don't get Gil Thunder, that just kind of sucks. You don't get Gil Thunder until literally like I think beating chapter 12 and then doing the side mission. Like it's a while. So you'd have to go that long without a single support for Drake. That's annoying. Um, but in terms of damage dealing with Gil Thunder, there's a reason why he's up here. But a lack of utility is why he's not an S tier. Now, for these two SRs, both Tiore and Tristan work well in multiple teams. Tiore's fire build with the heal is very helpful for a lot of team comps, especially if you're free to play. She's a really good option to heal, to save some potions and whatnot. Obviously, you're still going to use potions, but she's a nice backup option, and she's one of the only healers in the game, so that instantly raises her value. And I use on my main account, I've been maining Deanne up until I pulled Melly, and Deanne best team is her, King, Elaine, and Tiore. So she's a good support on pretty much any team you throw her in on. Obviously, Earth team with her Earth kit. With her Fire kit, she can really fit on any team because you're just using her to heal. So that's why I think she belongs in A tier. And then Tristan. Similar thing for the Wind team. He's actually pretty dang good with burst efficiency, and he has decent potential as DPS. And then getting him up to 10-10, he actually benefits quite a lot from the dupes. Same with Tiore, I forgot to mention. And they are SRs you get at the very beginning of the game for free. So the idea of 10-10ing them isn't completely out of the picture. And I do think they're actually two really good units to invest in, because both of them have the fire element. And there is a particular strong character that will come out soon that is all about fire. So take from that what you will. Now, when it comes to the S tier, I'm going to instantly throw in Manny, and then King, and then Deanne. Now, Manny is, I think, one of the best supports in the game because she heavily boosts two different teams, which is the Ice Burst team with Jericho, and then also the Light King DPS team with King. The Light King is all about pushing ult and nuking with the ult. She boosts ult damage and ult combined damage, which just makes her a perfect support for King. And then she also is a great support for Jericho, who is the best support for the best DPS in the game. So that's a lot of pluses. That is a lot of pluses. I haven't really tested out her DPS kit, but her support utility alone puts her in S tier. When it comes to King, he has two extremely viable kits. His Earth kit is a phenomenal support for Deanne, but his Light kit, which I have recently tested out, has pretty solid damage capability. I wouldn't say it's the strongest in the world, but I am confident I can solo hell with King as my main DPS. And it definitely has some utility. It has a lot of range in its attack, and if you get him to potential 5, he gets a significant boost to his ability, increasing the range of his special attack and how many hits it deals, which is a very big deal. Like that's a super good potential. So with this tier list in mind, it is like optimal play style. So I am considering free to play, but I would say King is probably one of the most pay to win units if you're not using the Earth kit. Like he's not really ideal for a free to play player, but I do think he is a good option as a DPS and a support. And then Deanne. I know a lot of people would probably put Deanne up here. I kind of disagree. I mained her throughout the entirety of the story. And one thing I noticed, her damage is just a little bit underwhelming compared to certain people. Um, it's just, it's not really, what you want here, in my opinion. Like, compared to other units, I don't think she's the best in the game. I would put her as the best in this tier, though. She is really good. And she can do a lot. She's good support. She's a good damage dealer. She can get the burst efficiency. She can pretty much fit into a lot of different teams. And that's what I value above all else is utility. So she's kind of good at a lot, but I wouldn't say she's the best in the game at what she does. Now, I'm actually going to add in a tier real quick. just to clarify, because I don't feel like the other two should be on the same tier. I'm just gonna call it Meliodas, because that's the only person that belongs in this tier. Meliodas is literally the best character in the game. Wait, did I spell that? I spelled that wrong. Meliodas. I don't think I changed that. Whatever. He's the best player, best character in the game. It's not even a discussion. Like, he's literally the best. His dual sword kit was already pretty good. His axe build is pretty solid. His longsword build destroys everything in seconds. I don't even. I have an 8 potential melee, or like 7, and I melt everything. Nothing is difficult with Meliodas. He is the best. He is the best unit in the game, and it's not a discussion. Every tier list is going to have him at the top, and for good reason. Now, for the last two, which is probably going to be a little controversial, I'm put Jericho and then Elaine. So I'm gonna start with the obvious. Jericho is the best support for the best unit in the game, which means she's the best support in the game. It's just that simple. But also, her burst efficiency is useful in other team comps as well. She works very well with King's team. If you're trying to use her, you could go King, Manny, Elaine, Jericho. That's literally his ideal team. Jericho is so good, and she's going to continue being so good because of how quick she gets to burst. Most characters rely on that to deal damage and for their kits to work. So it's not really close. Like, Jericho is, I would say, the best support in the game overall. Um, just because she's so good at that one thing. It's like Zenitsu. She just worked on that one stance and became completely overpowered at that one thing. Her burst efficiency is everything. If you're building her, that's the only thing you should focus on because that's her biggest worth. And then there's Elaine. Now, I guarantee you no one's putting Elaine in the same tier as Jericho. I completely disagree with that. I got very lucky. On my main account, I had not spent a dime, and I pulled Deanne, then King, then Elaine. So I got the ideal team right away for Deanne. But over time, I started using Elaine, and I just realized how absolutely cracked she is. She has a good kit in every single one of her builds. I think she's the only one in the game, actually, that's that good at all three of her kits. Her win DPS game, people have cleared the most difficult content in the game with using Tristan and Hauser. She gets by just fine as a DPS, but her support is even better. Her her Earth support boosts Deanne a lot better than King does, like a lot better. What she does is one of her abilities in the Earth build is to give a shield. If you know Deanne's ability in the Gauntlet, she benefits from the shield. She does more. I think it's either more Earth damage or more Earth burst efficiency, something like that. And it's like a 35% boost and then a 50% boost to tag skill damage. It's like actually insane. And for Deanne to build her own shield, it takes a while. With Elaine, you get it right at the start. So you instantly maximize Deanne's damage with Elaine. And that makes her better than King already. But it doesn't even stop then. She's also the absolute best support for King, who can also work in pretty much any team. In fact, I would say probably the best team in the game, in my opinion, if you were trying to build the quickest team, would be Meliodas, Jericho, Elaine, and Bug. Because her best ability, without a doubt, is in the light build. First of all, in her light build, her special skill boosts uh, burst efficiency, just in general. So it applies to any character, which means she's going to make Jericho better, and it's a 33% boost. So it is significant, and it lasts for like 20 to 30 seconds. So you're getting a burst almost instantly. But don't get to burst with this character. If you activate burst with Elaine, which she is holy in this build, which means she can activate burst on any element as long as you build it up with someone else. She can, if she activates burst with her SSR engraved equipment, she can restore up to 2,000 magic gauge. Now, obviously, it depends on your level of SSR engraved gear. I got pretty lucky. I got level 2, and that is 1750 magic gauge. On the lowest level, it's 1500. That is an absolute insane boost to magic gauge that is almost instantaneous. I'm even considering putting her as light for the Earth build, but the Earth build is really good still. But I don't think people understand how good that actually is because nuking with the ult is probably going to be a pretty strong ability in the future, and she helps that significantly. In fact, actually, as an overall character, I'd put her above Jericho because she has so much utility in what she can do, and she fits in so many different teams. She is optimal for the Earth team. She runs the Wind team, and as Holy, she can fit into any other team in the game. Literally any other team in the game. She applies to Lightning. She applies to um, the was it the Ice team. She applies to the Fire team. She applies to obviously I already said the Wind team, but the Earth team. Like she applies to literally every single team in the game, and I don't see her ever not being good with the fact she boosts magic gauge with one of her SSR engraved equipment. It's actually insane to me. So that is my hottest take for this tier list. Let me know what you think in the comments. But I feel pretty good about this tier list throughout my gameplay and what I've seen. This is what I honestly think are the best characters in the game. Meliodas is above everyone else. It's not close. It really isn't. Best support in the game, I think, is Jericho. Not Jericho, Elaine. Jericho's the best burst efficiency character, but Elaine's the best support. Plus, she has a DPS kit that is also good. Deanne is the best in this tier, definitely. She's just a little worse at what each of these characters do, which is why she's down here. But when I say a little, it is a little. Like, it's not like they're so far above her it makes her insignificant. It's just they are better, so she can't be in the same tier. Manny is just a good support. Both of her support kits are good, and they benefit both of the best teams. Well, not the best teams in the game, but one of the best teams in the game. And then King is also has utility as a support and DPS, which is going to put him in that S tier. Good utility in the A tier, a little limited, but solid DPS with the correct team. And obviously, there's going to be more lightning characters, so his value will probably go up when that happens. And then, to be honest, actually thinking about Bug, I'm going to bump Bug to A tier. Yeah, I'm bumping Bug to A tier because he works with Melly so well, and the fact that Elaine can make getting his combined ult so easy. Yeah, I think I would stick with that. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, I'll put 3 SRs you get for free in A tier. So like getting through this game, all you have to really do is pull one of these 3 tiers. Any of these 3. Well, maybe not Manny as any of these 3, but any of these 4 here, you can get through the game just fine. So that's my tier list. Sorry, I droned on for a little too long, but let me know what you think. I feel pretty confident about this, but I'm curious to see if people agree. That's it.